Hello everyone. This video is of Act 5, Scene 1 of the Tempest. Class 12s have requested me to do certain speeches, the important ones. Now Ariel in line number 7 says, confined together in the same fashion as you gave in charge, just as you left them all prisoners, sir, in the lime grove which weather fends your cell. They cannot budge till your release. The king his brother and yours abide all three distracted, and the remainder mourning over them, brimful of sorrow and dismay, but chiefly him you termed, sir, the good old Lord. Gonzalo, his tears run down his beard like the winter drops from eaves of reeds. Your charm so strongly works him, that if you now beheld them, your affections would become tender. In this speech, Prospero had asked Ariel how Alonso and his men were doing. Ariel reports that he has confined them, spellbound. They are all spellbound in a grove of lime trees. He describes how sorrowful and frightened they are, and adds that a man that Prospero calls the good old Lord Gonzalo has tears streaming down his face, and Ariel says that if Prospero beheld them, his affections would also become tender. Ariel gives a detailed account of these people, of these prisoners, Alonso and the others, the sinners. He says that they cannot move until and unless you set them free. The king and King Alonso and his own brother, that is Sebastian, and your brother, that is Antonio, they are almost mad, while the others are mourning over their condition. They are totally in a grip of disappointment. But the saddest of them all is the good old Gonzalo. And his tears are running down his beard like icicles, flowing down the projected edges of the cottages. Because Prospero's magic affects them so strongly that if he were to see them, he would definitely feel sorry for them. Now Ariel, in this speech, as I said, he feels for them, and this spirit of this air, spirit of air, he shows compassion for these sinners. Somehow, Ariel feels this. There is, because when he sees them suffering. They have been suffering for quite some time now. And we get this human side of Ariel's character, though he's the spirit of the air. He is not untouched with human sentiments. With his description of the shipwrecked party, testifies that he also feels for these sinners. Prospero asks him, "Dost thou think so, spirit?" Ariel says, "Mine would, sir, were I a human." Prospero goes on to say, "And mine shall, as thou which art but air, a touch, a feeling of their affections, and shall not myself, one of their kind, that relish all as sharply passion as they. Be kindlier moved than thou art, though with the high wrongs I am struck to the quick. Yet with my nobler reason against my fury do I take part. The rarer action is in the virtue than in vengeance. They bring the penitent, the sole drift of my purpose doth extend. Not a frown further, go and release them, Ariel. My charms I'll break, their senses I'll restore, and they shall be themselves." After describing the condition in which Prospero Ariel had left the shipwrecked king's party in the lime grove before Prospero's cell, he says that the sight of them is too touching. And Ariel says, if Prospero were there to witness that sight, he would surely relent. Here Prospero approves of it because he thinks if Ariel, who is but a spirit of the air, was so deeply moved, if he could be so deeply moved by the sufferings of the sinners, then Prospero, who is human himself, a man like him, should feel more keenly and be more affected by the sight of the sufferings. In other words, Prospero shows here a real emotion at the narration of the suffering shipwreck party and resolves to forgive them completely. In this dialogue with Ariel, Prospero for the first time seems to care what somebody else thinks. Ariel's compassion for the sinners seems to restore, very important, seems to restore Prospero's humanity. One can now look back and speculate as to whether his plan was to reconcile with his enemies all along, or whether he had planned on revenge until this conversation with Ariel changed his mind. We see Prospero changing after this, and he promises Ariel that he will forgive his enemies. Thank you for watching. Please continue to watch my videos for a complete analysis of your short stories, poems, as well as Shakespeare. Bye for now.